So hello everyone, I'm Tofu, we're on Gaol-Town today, and that means a build video. This is the build that I've been delaying because I couldn't actually get it right, but today we're going to be building an abandoned prison. So, let's jump on it. And as you can see, we have Sahara, so no doubt they're going to keep getting in my way and just annoying me. But we're first going to start off with this area that as per usual with any of my builds, I've done some pre-planning, so obviously painted a lot of the floor. But a lot of this outline is going to be for my various castle walls and castle towers. So, let's start putting them down. That obviously would help if I can get in the right place. Cool. So I'm really hoping that Sahara doesn't bother me too much in this build, just cause, you know, it's already annoying enough when the villagers do it, and that's why I've very specifically chosen like around 6 in the morning to film this, or in game time at least, because generally they're not awake at that point, so I can get away with it. But yeah, it would just be ironic if I've got Sahara and then they're constantly getting in the way. But it looks for now like they're going to leave me alone, so that's always a positive. So yeah, as far as this build goes, the reason it's been just so delayed is I just couldn't get it to come out the way I wanted it to. Like, no matter what I did, I wasn't really that happy with it. And so yeah, it just took a long time, honestly. And that's kind of why the majority of the videos that you've been seeing obviously haven't been this. But I've got it to a point where I am now finally happy with it. And so that's what we're doing, obviously. But I've wanted this idea of a abandoned prison for quite a while. Like I said, I just didn't know how to tackle it. And so I think the biggest issue that I had was that I wanted it over 2 levels. And I didn't really know how to work that in. And so I'm going to have this bottom floor here is going to be essentially the abandoned prison. And then when you go up here, you notice that I've made a little mark here. That will be for Radl's house, and he's going to have like this small work area, laboratory type thing going on. Almost in the prison kind of ruins. And so people leave him alone. Obviously he is meant to be the suspicious doctor. He gets whatever you want done, but you don't question his methods, you don't see what he's doing. But yeah, that's the basic story of that. And it just took a while for me to workshop it in. And like I said, sometimes you just get builds where you're really happy with everything kind of works as you plan first time. And there's others that just don't do that. And you have to rack your brain for the longest time trying to make it work. But that's the joy with Animal Crossing, I guess. In fact, any sort of creative game or project. I have a castle gate, so that will put here. Right, annoyingly, I have put one of the castle's towers in the wrong place. In fact, I think it's this one, so I'm going to move that. So the thing you'll probably notice very quickly is that my walls and towers are not symmetrical in this build. And yeah, the reason for that is I just wanted it to work, basically. And yeah, like I said, it was a bit of a pain building this, and this was the way I eventually compromised with it all. And I want a little bit of a 3D effect, which is why I've pushed the castle gate just in front of these 2 walls here. But I do like the effect, especially when you go into camera mode just at the front. I will just put this last gate and then show you. Okay, cool. So let's go into the camera mode. So I don't know if you're really getting the effect that I want there as far as the 3D, because obviously this front castle gate is kind of blocking it, but you know, obviously once you go into the entrance of the quote-unquote prison, you can notice it there. It's especially that angle. But I'm also going to go up to the top here and start putting down the various walls and towers that we have. So easier to start with the towers in my opinion, once I find it. And this, much like the other, is definitely not symmetrical, and it took a little bit of time to work out what I wanted to do and just to make it work, but I was happy with it. Eventually I end up putting a ruined pillar into the opposite corner of what I'm doing now. So there'll be a ruined pillar here, but that allows me to have the castle gate here, and the castle gate is a little bit bigger than a castle wall, and so that's the reason I've had to then put the ruined pillar into the corner. Just because I desperately wanted a way that you could actually walk through this prison lot and Radl's, I guess, front yard. But yeah, again, I am happy with the end result. Obviously, once the ruined pillar is there, hopefully you agree, and I'll put it down now. Cool. I think it works very nicely as a corner piece as well. It just hides that little bit of a gap that there will be. Wow, I'm really struggling to put things down in the right place. But if that's not a trademark move of mine, then I don't know what is, frankly. But clearly we've nearly finished the entirety of the perimeter with the walls and things like that, so we will then move on to the inner workings of the prison. And so I'll grab a load of materials from my my storage shed even. I was going to say workshop, but that's not the right word. But storage shed, and then I'll jump back into putting the items down. So, see you in a second. So you may notice that I've done a little bit of building off of camera, and that's just so that I'm a little bit closer, just inching closer to the completion of this island. Because honestly, the decorating is taking a long time. It's just very hard for me to come up with unique and fun ideas for this island, because there's a lot of fake buildings and such. But anyway, I'm going to start on with the jail cells, essentially, and I've got an absolute ton of these jail bars. And to be honest, this is kind of the struggle that I had. These jail bars, I couldn't get them in a way that left me satisfied that the jail cells I'm creating now were either big enough or then they were just too small. Obviously you want enough space that it looks like people could be like locked up here, but you don't want it so massive that it takes up the entirety of, like, you know, an acre in the map or anything like that. And I really just struggled with making the size that was good enough. But I believe I have come across the solution. And as you will see, like I said, it isn't symmetrical. Symmetrical? Did I say that right? I don't know. Anyway, it's not symmetrical, but I think it works. Oh, I'm going to have to pick that up. Okay, not a problem. Like I said, it's not a tofu build if I can't put something down in the improper way. Let me just push that along. So I'm going to have 2 jail bars in the middle. Not that way though, because, you know. So there's going to be one there, and then one in the opposite side, just creating a little bit of a smaller cell. There we go. Fantastic. And then just to hide this little bit at the front, just a tad, we're going to put down a ruined decorative pillar. So this essentially would be the jail cell. The reason, obviously, you know, it's been abandoned, so the doors are unlocked. They're just free to come and go, whoever wants to dare come into this prison. But they're all rusty. You can see the floor is all rusted. At some point these would have been new and obviously cared for, but yeah, no one's obviously taking care of an abandoned place, especially on Crime Island. But now we're just going to start throwing a few items down, making it seem like, you know, occasionally there's some people that actually do dare to come into this place. So I've got various things like scattered papers and spray can, as if people are going to graffiti the walls. But I also have a decayed tree, which I like the idea, like kind of most of the island, honestly, that nature is trying to reclaim this space. And I have somewhere a green leaf pile. but I'm too close to the tree because the tree is massive compared to what you would actually think. There we go. And I want to throw a green leaf pile just in front of this entranceway. So it's something you can notice immediately when you start walking through. I have a couple of scattered papers, like I mentioned, so I just wanted to make it seem like, you know, it's messy, no one cares for it, like I said. Spray can live on this right-hand side. I'm not sure which way it's facing. Cool, so that's actually facing the wall, so yeah, don't spray myself in the face like I did a couple of builds ago in this island. And then we've just got some decorative bottles, so it makes it look like people have been drinking and obviously just discarding their waste here. And I've got a couple of cans as well. So same kind of idea, like make it seem like people drink and then eat and just throw their trash around. Okay, so that is the general basis of the inside of my abandoned prison. And now we will move up to this space here. As we have, I guess, the perimeters with the walls and such, I'm going to talk to Tom Nook and move Raddle's home here. So let's jump on that and then we'll get to decorating this upper ledge, shall we? I do love that Isabel's just dancing and exercising in the background. Okay, can I put it down right the first time? Let's see. Oh, perfect. Somewhat surprised I actually managed that, but there we go. I like to surprise myself every now and again, I suppose. Right, I'm going to jump to the next day, and Raddle's house will obviously be moved in here, and then we'll get to decorating. So, see you in a second. Okay, so we're back in a brand new day. Obviously, we've moved forward in order to get this house here. I've actually time skipped onto a Saturday, which means we've got KK here, and Sahara's no longer messing around on the island, which is just good news, because they're not going to bother me. So I'm just going to quickly paint this floor. We'll use this particular one just to match everywhere else, sorry. We'll do one rust tile just to make it a little bit off-center and, you know, again, gives that impression that it's not really been looked after. That's why I've put this almost like paving down as well, just to make things look a little bit uneven. But let's start putting down some furniture. So naturally, if we want it to be just like a workshop area, you're going to need a tool shelf. But as Raddle is our mysterious doctor, we've also got some glowing moss jar shelves as well. And I just think this adds a little bit of mystery. Doesn't matter where you put it on any island, it always seems a bit mysterious, just like, why is that there? But then we put the lab equipment on top. And yeah, again, just makes it a little bit more suspicious, a little bit mysterious, drives home the narrative for Raddle. And we also have a lab chair. So I think that's probably the most mysterious thing about this build, just because what is that used for? Why is it here? What does Raddle do with it? But you don't ask questions like that, honestly. And then I'm going to have a workbench over here, so that will obviously work as far as the, like I said, the narrative. But if you ever want to make anything on the island, that's, yeah, just nicely in the middle, and you don't have to constantly run over to your home to build something, which is always just a handy thing to have, honestly. And just various more bits of tat, so cardboard boxes. I've got another electronic kit. I've put them in different colours just to kind of switch up, obviously, the colour and make it seem like it's different, even though it is the same item. There's an oil barrel, because, again, who knows why he actually needs these kind of things. It's a mystery unto everyone but himself. Scattered papers again, just making it look really messy, and I do have a manhole cover, which you've probably seen already. There we go. And again, the bronzy kind of colour makes it look very rusty, just like it's not been cared for. And I'm not going to do too much decorating outside of the prison build, just because honestly I've not thought that far ahead. But I do have two items just to go here, and that is the cannon Let's not point it towards the towards the prison. That feels like that would be kind of pointless. There we go. Fabulous. So pointing away, and then I'm just going to put a wheat field. As everybody knows, I love a good wheat field. Just here, making it seem like things are overgrown, and like I said, nature's trying to take things back. So now all that's left is in front of the prison itself. So I'm going to grab some more items, and then we'll get this done. So, again, storage shed, and I'll see you in a second. Okay, so we're on the final stretch. So, you may notice these little dirt patches, so that's where I'm going to put a couple of trees. Again, I really want this area to feel like it's a little bit of nature is trying to claim some of this island back after just years and years of misuse. And naturally, we've got a couple of bushes and wheat fields, but I'm going to put a broken pillar, there we go, in this corner. I really just like the aesthetic of these, they're just so good. So I'm going to put a wheat field just in front of it. Fantastic. I actually do have some barbed wire fencing, which I'm just going to put here for now, just because that's going to be a pain if I don't do that. I'm going to grab my shovel again, and then we'll put a bush right outside the barbed wire. Cool. And then another wheat field just over here. I've got plenty of them. Cool. And then we can do the other bit of barbed wire just to stop people from actually going into this little area. I'm going to do something very similar on the other side as well. I don't remember, can I fit a... I can't because of how it's placed, so I was going to put a bush there, but never mind, it doesn't fit. So I did want some trash bags just in the corner. Actually, I think a garden rock makes sense in the corner. It makes it look like part of the wall has almost crumbled down a bit and just left a chunk of rock there. Just didn't splash into the river. We'll put some wheat field and then maybe some trash bags just in front. Where are the trash bags? They are there. Fantastic. So let's just push that back, make sure that we can actually put the barbed wire in front so that, again, no one can actually access that a little bit. Gives that illusion that it's a little bit more kind of menacing as well. Obviously, you don't want people to go into the prison. Never mind the fact that it's just open, but yeah, you can imagine at some point it had really heavy-duty doors, and obviously they've just, I guess, been stolen over time. Before I put that last tree, I have a mini car, which I've customised to look like it's damaged, and yeah, it just looks like a just horrible, horrible thing, honestly. But it's not in the position I want it to be, so I'm going to just try and get it so it rotates properly. That's what I wanted, but now I can't get past. I am struggling a bit today, especially with the rotation. Oh, didn't know if I press the button it would actually honk its horn at me, so that's kind of interesting. I found out something new, I suppose. I knew the lights came on, but yeah, I guess I've never just never done it myself. I guess the villagers always do it, and so I know the lights turn on because of that. Anyway, we're going to block it in with this tree. Enough of me rambling, and so it's no longer actually able to get out. Here is the last bush. Again, just another little thing to block it in. And then we're just going to plot various items down. So I have a truck somewhere in my inventory. There we go. Hopefully it'll be the right way. It is. Wow, that's actually kind of a surprise. And then what kind of abandoned place would it be if it didn't have just a massive fire hazard somewhere outside the front? So we've got a campfire right next to the entrance. We're going to imagine it doesn't catch fire, but there's always the possibility that it could. I have a couple of wheat fields, naturally. They're everybody's favourite. Mine included. I want that staggered a little bit, so I'm going to just put that a little bit closer. But try and work it on the half tile. That's what I wanted. Fabulous. I have a barrel. And I think barrels work in both this kind of urban setting. Obviously, it works with the Crime Island, but it also works really well with things like cottagecore and, yeah, things like that. So, it's just such a good item to have. And now we're just going to dot various bits of trash around. I've tried to mix up the trash bag colours, just because. I like the variation in colour. We'll drop an empty can, hopefully that will go on top of the barrel. It did indeed, fabulous. And then last of all, we've got a single traffic cone, which I'm just going to put over here. And somewhat on the road, somewhat on the path. It's meant to kind of stop people from going into this waterway, which is obviously working as the moat for the prison. But there we have it, guys. So I'm just going to jump cut to near the plaza, and I'll walk you through the small build that I've done off of camera, and obviously show this off in its entirety. So I'll see you there. There's a balloon just hovering above the prison. It's contraband, someone's trying to smuggle items in. So here we are at the plaza. Like I mentioned previously, we've got KK, because obviously I had to move forward in the days. But yeah, this is the small area that I've built off camera. So it's really just a small strip, nothing too fancy, but I wanted this area to be filled with trees, with the idea that they've started trying to clear out trees. They've cut a few down. Obviously you've got the bulldozer, you've got the toolbox and the chainsaw there. And yeah, it's just kind of a bit unpleasant because, like I said, they've chopped down trees. Some of the fencing they've put down has long gone rusty. You've got various bits of trash. Obviously there's weeds growing through the road asphalt. And the odd bit of rock and things like that. And obviously there's this horrible radioactive oil barrel, I guess. I don't know what they really need it for, but again, just adds to the atmosphere. I've added a little bit of road obviously here, as you've been seeing. I've gone over this bridge, and I haven't planned this yet, but the road I imagine will go down and then connect to a bridge later on. But then we have the front of the prison here. Obviously go through the entrance. It's a horrible mess, long been abandoned, everything's gone rusty, everything's just a bit horrible. And then you go up to the upper level, and we have Raddle's house and his various experiments, his toolboxes, all his plans for making the various things that people require of him. So guys, that concludes my abandoned prison build for Gaol-Town. Hopefully you guys think that it matches the vibe of the rest of the island. Obviously with it being abandoned and filled with trash, I think it does, but let me know down in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, please hit like and consider subscribing if you haven't done already. As for my next few videos, I'm going to be doing some more tours of your islands, and I also want to do a build on Utopia, my all-sheep island. But I want to say thank you very much for watching, and until next time, have a good one. Cheers guys.